What's up, guys? Moonlapse Nightwind here with the next part of the full album collection. This time we're doing the N's, the O's, and the P's. Let's just go ahead and get into it, starting with Noct Mystium with their self-titled, Instinct Decay, the Worldfall EP, Addicts Black Metal Part 1, The Silencing Machine. I thought I had one more from them, but apparently I do not. That's okay. Next up is Naglfar with Sheol and Pariah. Then we have Nautrunar with Symbolisms. Next up is Nails with Unsilent Death and You Will Never Be One of Us. Then we have, what was this one? Nargaroth with Rascula Part 2. Or Rasclusa Part 2. I'm not sure, I think it's in Russian. Then we have Nartvind with Until Their Ruin. And Ruinous. Then we have Neobliviscaris with Portal of Eye. Citadel, Urn, and then I have the, actually sitting right up here on the top of my desk, the deluxe version of Exul. It's in this big book down here with a bonus Blu-ray, and it comes with this statue, little mini statue / holder thing, which is pretty cool. Then we have Neria with The Rising Tide of Oblivion. And Armamentarium, I think is how it's pronounced. Next up is, where's this at? Necromantia with Scarlet Evil Witching Black. There we go. Fake metalhead, I can't read the font. Then we have Necrophobic with Blood Hymns. Necrot with Blood Offerings and Mortal. Then we have Nethermost with Noetic. Next up is Neurosis with The Word is Law. Through Silver and Blood. Times of Grace. The Sovereign EP. And The Eye of Every Storm. Next up is Nightclub. I saw these guys open for a Perfect Circle of all bands. They were interesting enough for me to buy these. We have Requiem for Romance and Scary World. Then we have Night in Gales, not all one word, Night space in space Gales with Nailwork. Then we have Nightbringer with Ego Dominus Tus. Night Fear with Cryptasm. Next up is Nightwish with Angels Fall First, Oceanborn, Wishmaster, the Over the Hills and Far Away EP, From Wishes to Eternity Live, Century Child, Once, then the End of an Era CD, 2 CD DVD set. Kind of a dick move, in my opinion, to release a full-on live set right after you kick the singer out, but you know, Tuomas is gonna Tuomas. He makes good music, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's probably stuff behind the scenes that I don't know about between like him and Tarja, and then him and Annette Olson. Speaking of Annette Olson, Dark Passion Play, the collector's edition with the bonus orchestral version of the album. Imaginarium, the 2 CD deluxe edition with the instrumental disc as disc 2. Endless Forms Most Beautiful, same thing, digibook with the instrumental disc 2. Vehicle of Spirit. This is a two Blu-ray, 2 CD set, live material. And then Human Nature, their most recent album. They are working on something new, which supposedly they're not going to be touring for. They're going to go on hiatus after that, which will be interesting. Wonder if they're going to get rid of Floor Jansen next. I say as a joke, please don't get rid of Floor. She is, aside from Tart, I mean, they all three singers have been great in their own eras, but if I had to rank them, it would be Tarja number 1, Floor number 2, Annette number 3. So please don't get rid of Floor. Then we have Nile with Grand. Then I don't know how to pronounce this band's name. I think it's Injikada, Njiqahddda, with Erg Alms, YRG space ALMS. Then we have Nobuo Uematsu, most known as the composer for Final Fantasy, with the Final Fantasy X original soundtrack. It's tied for my favorite video game soundtrack of all time with Nier Automata. Then we have Noctuary with For Salvation. Then Nocturnus with The Key. Next up is Noisem with Blossoming Decay. Then we have Nocturnal Mortem with something in Russian that I do not know how to say. Next is Nun with Damp Chill of Life. Norns with In Fog They Appear, which I can't remember if this was an EP or a demo. I'm pretty sure it's a demo. Then we have Northwind Wolves with Mountains and Darkness. Next up is Nothing with The Spine Overshadowed by the Rope. Then we have November's Doom with Amid Its Hollow Mirth, Of Sculptured Ivy and Stone Flowers. To Welcome I can't speak today. To Welcome the Fade, The Pale Haunt Departure, The Novella Reservoir, Into Night's Requiem Infernal, and Bled White. Next is Novoy Savet with Apocalypse, and this is numbered. This is number 542 out of 1,000. And then finishing up the ends, we have Numinous with Bellum in Terrace. Next up, moving into the O's, we have Obituary with Slowly We Rot. The 10,000 Ways to Die, it's an EP, but it's more so a live album. It has two tracks, 2 new tracks, and then a bunch of live material. And then Dying of Everything. Don't have as much Obituary as I'd like, but one day. Next up is Obscenity with Summoning the Circle. Then we have Obscura with Omnivium. Next is Obsequii with The Palms of Sorrowed Kings. I'm really keeping an eye out to see what these guys do next, because I really love that album. Next up is The Obsessed with Sacred. Then we have Occultum with Towards Eternal Chaos. Then we have Occlumancy with Augrium Sonaris Umbrae. It's in Latin. Again, can't read, can barely read English, can barely speak English, you know. Next up, one of my favorite bands of all time, the ones I've seen live, that's probably one of, if not the best live show I've seen, The Ocean Collective, or just The Ocean, with Fluxion, Aeolian, Precambrian, Heliocentric, Anthropocentric, or Anthropocentric, however you want to pronounce it, Pelagial. This is when they thought that Luik was not going to be on vocals for this one because of some vocal surgery he had to have. So they released both the instrumental and the standard version in one set. Nowadays they generally release the instrumentals as a separate product, unless you buy the box sets. But with that one, it was both. Then we have Phanerozoic 1, Paleozoic. Over here is Phanerozoic 2, Mesozoic, Cenozoic. And then, well, first, Phanerozoic Live, which this is where they performed both albums live, front to back. Phanerozoic 1, Paleozoic, was at the Roadburn live stream, and then Mesozoic and Cenozoic were just in like a room with just them for another live stream. I think they did it for like one of the Metal Blade stay-at-home fests, or not Metal Blade, Metal Injection. But either way, it's a 2 CD DVD live set, which is really cool. I think it sounds better live than in the studio, if you ask me. And now, finishing up the main the quadrilogy, I guess. Holocene, their most recent album. Oops. Next up is Ocean Lord with their 2023 album Kingdom Cold, which reminds me, Holocene was a 2023 album also. Clearly this jewel case is not all together. There we go. Ulframod with Tiamtu. Then Of Serpents with the Mortuary Sessions. Then we have Oceans of Slumber with their 2023 album Starlight and Ash. I'm sorry, 2022 album, their most recent. Then October Tide with A Thin Shell. Odium Totus with In Inceptum Finis Est. Then we have... Hold on a second. Figured it out. Somehow that other Ulframod album got out of order, because I have another one from them titled Thaumiel. Then we have Otar with Petrified Breath of Hope. And Oxenus with Sokea Idioti. Next up is another one that got out of order. Another Otar album with Emptiness. Make sure this isn't... Okay. I don't know how all these got out of order, but live editing done cheap, as I've always said. Next is Old Forest with Mournfall. Old Growth with Mossweaver. Next is Old Man Gloom with Christmas. Not actually Christmas music. Would be hilarious if it was. Then we have Old Man's Child with In Defiance of Existence. And Revelation 666, The Curse of Damnation. Next up is Russian band Old Wains with Withers of the Wind EP. And the only reason I know, it's Cyrillics on the front, but the English title is on the spine, thankfully. Where the Snows Are Never Gone. Religion of Spiritual Violence. And Scalding Coldness. Next is Ohm with Pilgrimage. Then we have Omnium Gatherum with Origin. Then next up is Opeth with, starting with Orchid, my personal favorite, Morning Rise, My Arms Your Hearse, Still Life, this is the deluxe digibook reissue, Blackwater Park, this is the original deluxe edition before they had like the legacy edition and the anniversary edition. This is the original 2-disc slipcase edition with the bonus disc having Still Day Beneath the Sun and Patterns in the Ivy 2. We have Deliverance, Damnation, Ghost Reveries, the deluxe edition with the bonus DVD, The Roundhouse Tapes, Watershed, this is the deluxe edition with a bonus DVD as well, as is Heritage, and Pale Communion. Although I think Pale Communion had a bonus CD. No, Pale Communion was bonus Blu-ray. Sorceress has a bonus CD. Then we have Garden of the Titans live in Red Rocks, and their most recent album, In Cauda Venenum, which is a 2 CD set because they released it both in English and in Swedish, which I think the Swedish version is better. It gives a little bit more authenticity to the record that Michael Ackerfeldt was trying to go for, like he stated in interviews. Also, I almost forgot, I pulled these from the DVD shelf so I could show them off as well. First up, I missed this one with The Ocean. This is Collective Oblivion. This is a 3 DVD set. Collective Oblivion, which is the origin of the band in early live clips and video clips. Then we have a live, or 2 live sets in here. Live at Bikini Test in Czechia, I believe it is. And then live at Summer Breeze. And then DVD 3 is 12, called 12 Months at Sea, tour documentary live around the globe. And then Opeth with Lamentations, where they played Damnation front to back, as well as a few other tracks. Moving on from there, we have Orange Goblin with A Eulogy for the Damned. This is the Digibook edition with the bonus DVD. Next up we have Electronic Project The Orb with UF Orb. Metallic Spheres, which was a collaboration with David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. And No Sounds Are Out of Bounds. Then we have Organectomy with Nail Below Nail. Then we have Orgy with Candy Ass. Punk Static Paranoia. I thought I had one more from them, but I think that's all they've released. Then we have Orphanland with Mabul, the story of three sons of 7. Then we have OSI with Office of Strategic Influence, another Mike Portnoy project. Our Last Night with Age of Ignorance. I bought this when I was in middle school or high school, when Hot Topic still had demo stations. And I listened to it, and at the time I thought it wasn't bad. I really haven't listened to it since then, so who knows, maybe this will get me to listen to it again. Then we have Outer Heaven with Realms of Eternal Decay. Owl City, another bunch of stuff I have from middle school. I actually saw these guys live when Ocean Eyes came out. And Fireflies and Vanilla Twilight are still a bop, and you cannot tell me otherwise. First up, the Of June EP, the 2 CD version of Ocean Eyes, the Midsummer Station, and do not have the other one from them. Next up, that was it for the O's, my bad. Next up we have the P's with Pact, God Only Knows. Then we have Pagan Altar with Lords of Hypocrisy and Judgment of the Dead. And then The Room of Shadows. Next up is Pagan's Mind with God's Equation. This is a 2 CD deluxe edition. Then we have Pain of Salvation with Entropia. 1 Hour by the Concrete Lake. Which one's this? Remedy Lane. 12/5, which is a live album. B. And In the Passing Light of Day. Then we have Pallbearer with Sorrow and Extinction, Heartless, and their most recent album, Forgotten Days. Next up is Palms, which was a side project of Chino Moreno from Deftones with their self-titled. Then we have Pandemonium. This is one of those where it's 2 albums on one. It's the Dawn EP and then Dream 2 EP, or one of them's a demo or something like that. Then we have Panopticon with Roads to the North and Autumn Eternal. Next up is Paradise Lost. I have quite a bit from them, but even then, it's still not everything. Of course, one of the Peaceville Three, along with Anathema and My Dying Bride. First up, Lost Paradise, Gothic, Shades of God, Draconian Times, 1 Second, Host, Symbol of Life, the Anatomy of Melancholy live at the Coco, Drown in Darkness, the early demos, In Requiem, Faith Divides Us, Death Unites Us, Draconian Times 2011, this is where they perform the album live from front to back, Tragic Idol, Tragic Illusion 25, this was some live material and some rare B-sides and remixes, I believe, and then The Plague Within. Next up, we have Nashville Natives Paramore with All We Know Is Falling, Riot, The Final Riot live CD DVD set, Brand New Eyes, The Self-Titled, After Laughter, and their 2023 album, This Is Why. Next up is Parasitic Ejaculation with Isolation. I believe that's an uncensored cover, which I can show on YouTube. I mean, it's graphic, like in as far as gore and stuff, but it's not sexual, which is more so what I'm concerned about. Peccatum with the Moribund People EP. Then we have Pelican with the self-titled EP. The Fire in Our Throats Will Beckon the Thaw. And City of Echoes. And then over here I have the After the Ceiling Cracked live DVD, and then it also comes with the Pink Mammoth EP. Next up is Pentagram with Relentless. Then we have Pured with An Obscure Forgotten Path. And Glaring from Spacious Woods and Eternal Mountains of Frost. Next up is A Perfect Circle with Mer de Nom, 13th Step, Emotive. I have the big box or DVD case, A5 Digipack, whatever you want to call it, version of A-Motion. And their most recent album, Eat the Elephant. Hopefully it won't be another 14 years before we get another one. Then we have Periphery with the self-titled. Still missing Periphery 2, but I do have the Clear EP, Juggernaut Alpha, Juggernaut Omega, Periphery 3 Select Difficulty, Periphery 4 Hail Stan, and Periphery 5 The Gent Is Not a Genre, their most recent album, which is like it's in my top 5 of the year, I can tell you that. Then we have Perished with Hark. Then we have Phase 4 with their self-titled. I believe they're a local band as well. I don't remember. I blind bought it at McKay's. Then we have Phlegine. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. With Devotion. Then we have Phobos with Tectonics. Next up is Pilgrim with 2 Void Worship. Then the Pineapple Thief with All the Wars and Magnolia. Then we have Place of Skulls with The Black Is Never Far and As a Dog Returns. Next up is Polyphia with New Levels, New Devils, and their album from last year, Remember That You Will Die. Then we have Porcupine Tree, which is like half of this remaining stack here, with On the Sunday of Life, Up the Downstair. This is the Digibook reissue with the Staircase Infinities disc. And all these Digibook reissues were done through K-Scope. Then we have the Sky Moves Sideways Digibook with the bonus disc. Signify with the bonus Insignificance disc, which is all demos. Then we have Coma Divine, which I believe this is a 2-disc live album. Stupid Dream, and this one, instead of having a bonus CD, has a bonus DVD, as does this one, Lightbulb Sun. Then we have Recordings, which is a compilation of B-sides and rarities. We also have Voyage 34, which was originally an EP and then it got expanded, which this is the expanded version. There we go. Next up is In Absentia, and this one has the bonus disc with Drown With Me, Chloroform, and the video edit version of Strip the Soul. Then we have the Warzawa live album, which was recorded in Warsaw, which Warzawa is Warsaw in Polish. And we have Deadwing. This was a radio promo version, as you can see from the stamp. Then we have Arriving Somewhere, the 2-CD Blu-ray set. Fear of a Blank Planet, which was also a radio promo. The No Recurring EP. The Incident. Anesthetize. This is a 2-CD DVD live set. Then Octane Twisted, which is also a 2-CD DVD live set. And then their newest album from last year, Closure Continuation. The album we never thought we'd get, and we still don't know if it'll be the last one because they're kind of being vague about it. Next we have Port St. Willow with Holiday. Next we have Porter Robinson, electronic artist, who one of my friends got me turned on to, and I'm really glad they did because it's life music. It makes me feel good. It's a reminder that not everything is as shitty as it seems. First up, Worlds, and then Nurture, and I also have the art book that came with this. It was a big, yay long, yay tall art book that Porter Robinson released alongside it. Next up, we have Post Malone, because sometimes I just feel like listening to I don't want to call it brain dead music because I feel like I'm insulting him, but music that doesn't make me have to think too much, I guess. First up, Stoney, the deluxe edition. Beer Bongs and Bentleys. Hollywood's Bleeding. 12 Karat Toothache, which came out last year. And his newest album, Austin, which came out literally a week and a half ago. Then we have Predatory Light with Death and the Twilight Hours. Primordial with Imrama, and this is the deluxe edition with the Dark Romanticism demo and live in Cork City, Ireland on DVD. Then we have also from Primordial, The Gathering Wilderness. Next up is Probot with their self-titled, which was a Dave Grohl project. Next is Profanacion with Strangulation. Then we have Projected with Ignite My Insanity, which is a 2-CD set. Then is Prostitute Disfigurement, and I have to cover up the cover for this one, but this is called Embalmed Madness. Next is Protest the Hero with Kezia. Fortress. Scurrilous. Volition, and Palimpsest. Next up is Psychroptic with their self-titled, and Divine Council. Next up is Pupil Slicer with their 2023 album Blossom. Then we have Pure with Joaris Du, which is in French. I can't speak French, which this was, I believe, an EP, I can't remember if it's an EP or full length, and then their demo 2016. Next up is Pussifer, first with V is for Vagina, which goes up here. Then Conditions of My Parole. the Donkey Punch the Night EP, Money Shot, Existential Reckoning, and then we get to all the live stuff they did during the pandemic, starting with V is for Versatile, where they performed V is for Vagina front to back, for, well, most of it anyway, and not even front to backs. They for half of these rather, they did the track listing in a different order. They also did that on this one, Parole Violator, where they did Money Shot live, or not Money Shot, Conditions of My Parole live, but the track listing doesn't match the original Conditions of My Parole. And then I am missing the one for Money Shot, but I do have Live at Arcasante, which was the very first one they did for Existential Reckoning. And then Existential Reckoning Rewired, which is the remix album. And the last one for this video, Putrid Evocation with Echoes of Death. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Subscribe if you're ready to see more, and I'll see you next time. Take care.